Do you know what my family really loves to do? We really love to go canoeing in the Northwest region. The beautiful trees, the animals, the smell, the nature. My family goes every year. We've been going for a long time. Up until now, my children, they're 8 and 6, and to go on the boat and get out and with all the packing and everything with the children, we haven't done it. It's just too much. But last year, that was the first time we've went together. My son, he's 8. He can have his own backpack. He's old enough. And my daughter, she's got a little school backpack, so we packed that one for her. So all three of us were ready to go. So I have a backpack as well, and it matches the other family's backpack. One of us would bring the food, and one of us would bring the clothes. So there's different trails that you could take to get to the portage. We parked the car, and the one that we took, it was only like a quarter of a mile to the portage. So after you get then that's how you get down to the water. So the portage that we picked was kind of a short portage. They have longer ones, but with the kids, it's really not a good idea. So the short portage, it will be fine. So when we got there, the kids went along because my children, they've been there a lot of times before. They know how to get around, and they know what's safe and not safe. The other children, they haven't really experienced it yet. So I told them just go ahead, and I stayed back with my bag, and I had to get the canoe and bring it over to the portage. So it really wasn't that far. It's like, how many knots is it? Oh, help me. I don't know. 1 knot, 2. So, anyway, it doesn't really matter. So it's about a quarter of a mile. So I bring the canoe there, and then I go back. And, I really cherish my back, and I know some people can carry 2 things with the canoe, but I can't because I just really cherish my back. I'll hurt myself. So we're going out onto the big lake, and usually when we're on the boat, I'm really strict with the children. I want them to wear their life jackets. And my son, he's a good swimmer, so he doesn't really need to wear it. But my daughter, I have to make her wear it. I hate to be so strict, but she's really uncomfortable in it, but you have to wear it. So in the canoe, I sit in the back, my daughter sits in the middle, and my son sits in the front. If we did it another way around, the canoe would tip. So he sits in the front, and we put the day bag up there too to kind of balance it out, so it's really no problem. So it was the last day of the trip, and we were ready to go back. And the day it was really windy, and the waves were really choppy. So first, when we arrived, my daughter was so excited about canoeing. She just loved it, and she was so excited about it. But it was the end of the trip, and a day trip maybe, but on a long trip, she's never done one of those before. But that day it was really awful. My daughter, she was just complaining and complaining. She didn't want to row the canoe anymore. She was really tired of it. So you really have to canoe hard, because on a day like that when it's really windy, the wind and the waves are just blowing right at you. So you have to kind of go in a zigzag pattern. So you row one way over to the shore and the wind is pushing you, then you have to turn the boat and go the other way up the zigzag, and you just have to keep doing that. So the boat was kind of tipping in the back a little bit, so I told my daughter to get up into the front, and she didn't want to. She was kind of scared. And, it could happen. She could tip the boat over. So I really wanted her to go into the front, and she was really scared. So I took the oar, and I kind of hit her up with it, and I said, "Get into the front." So I had really hit my limit. I was so frustrated and so angry with them. And I called my son. I said, "You are so lazy. You need to work harder and help me do the canoe." And I must have really been mad to call him lazy. And I said to my daughter, "You need to get up into the front. We need to do this." So she got up into the front, and, if it was a nice normal day, it probably would have only taken us 2 hours, but it took us all day because we had to do the zigzag pattern because the weather was so terrible. So we're paddling the boat, and we almost got stuck on the end, and I was kneeling, and my legs would just hurt so bad, but I didn't care. I was just like, "Oh, Christ, we got to do this." So we just kept paddling and paddling. So finally, I just gave up. We were just too tired. We couldn't do it. So the boat just kind of drifted off to the shore and was banging along the edge. So we just banged along the edge of the shore until we finally got there, and we were so exhausted. And I was just like, oh gosh, I feel really bad. And I told my son, I said, I'm so sorry I was so mean to you. I was just so frustrated and we were so tired. And he said he understood. And that trip, it really wasn't any fun.